Math Genie.
In this video, I'll be explaining how to solve Venn diagram problems. Let's look at the question. Every student who applied for admission to a veterinary school has at least one pet. 30 have a cat, 28 have a dog, and 26 have fish. If 13 students have fish and a cat, 15 students have fish and a dog, 11 students have both a cat and a dog, and 4 students have a cat, a dog, and fish, how many students applied to the veterinary school? So whenever you solve any type of problems like these, you're going to use a Venn diagram. You can use the Venn diagram to organize counting problems where some items are included in multiple groups while others are excluded. So let's label this Venn diagram first. So I'll start with a cat because it appears at the very beginning of the problem. So let's say this is the cat. So all the cat information is going to go into the left circle, and then let's have the dogs down here, and let's say this is going to be where our fish information goes. So there we go. So we have all the animals labeled there. Whenever you solve Venn diagram problems, you're always going to start from the very center of the diagram, and you're going to work your way outward. So let's look at the first information. 4 students have a cat, a dog, and a fish. That means that 4 students have all of these pets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 4 at the middle of the diagram because they have all 3 of the animals. So I'm going to cross out this information because we just used it. Now let's move outward. So next part of the circle we're going to be looking at is these, where 2 circles intersect. So we have to be careful here to not make any mistakes. So let's look at the first information. 13 students have a fish and a cat. A fish and a cat. That means we're going to be talking about this part of the circle right here. However, you're not going to put 13 because remember, 13 students have a fish and a cat, and that means that some of those 13 students can have a fish, cat, and a dog. So what you have to do is you have to subtract 4 from 13 to put it there. So instead of 13 going there, we're going to put number 9. We have to put 13 minus 9. So now that clearly makes sense. So cat and fish, how many students have it? 13 in total. 9 only have cat and fish, while 4 have cat, fish, and a dog. So we just use that information. Next information, 15 students have fish and a dog. We're going to do the same thing. We're not going to put 15 here. What we're going to do is we're going to do 15 minus 4, and that is 11. So we're going to put 11 here. Next, we're given that 11 students have both a cat and a dog, meaning that we're going to put number 7 here. So you're going to work your way out like this. So always remember to not just put 13, 15, and 11 here. Always remember that you're going to put this middle number, remember to subtract that from the number that it's indicated for these second portions. Finally, before I move on, I'm just going to cross this information out. When you have a lot of information when it's given in the problem, I like to cross them out as I go through them so I don't get them confused. This is a tip. Let's go to the final one. I'm just going to use orange for this. So we're given that 30 have a cat. So 30 have a cat. We're going to put that there. No, we're not going to do that. Same thing here. We have to subtract all of these other numbers. We're going to subtract 9, 7, and 4, which gives you 11, 20. So how many students have a cat? 10. 10 students have a cat. I'm just going to erase that. Same thing for the fish. We're given that 26 has a fish. So 26 minus 9 minus 4 minus 11, which gives you 2. And finally, for the dog, we're given that 28 have a dog. So 28 minus 11 minus 4 minus 7, which gives you 6. So now we have completed filling out the diagram. What's the question actually asking for, however? It's asking you to find how many students applied to the veterinary school. So what do you have to do to find that answer to the question? You have to just add all of these numbers that are shown in the Venn diagram. So let's do that now. So let's take this unnecessary information out. We're given that 10 plus 6 plus 2 equals 18. Number of students that only have one pet. Let's move on. How many students have 2 pets? 9 plus 7 plus 11. What is that? 27. How many students have all 3 of the animals? 4 students. Now let's add all of these up. 18 plus 27, 1, 45, and finally add 4, and you get 49. So the answer to this question is 49 students. Thank you for staying until the end of this video.
Math Genie.